Oh boy, it's time for the compilation video. For all those minor contributors, the people that weren't content heavy enough to have their own individual episode. Not a Spoony One or a Pissed Pablo, but nonetheless, they were contributors to the website. Now, there are a whole host of people, a plethora to choose from, of individual contributors throughout the year that have had minor altercations here or there. But exactly who would we define as a minor contributor? Would Sean Faust from Epic Fails, would he be minor? Looking at this individual, do you think the word minor would apply to him in any conceivable fucking fashion? This Nutella-eating butterball could be described by almost any other word than minor. Well, you know what? I guess there's the minor heart attack. The minor one. But don't worry, guys. Sean Faust is going to be A-OK. He's not working anymore. Clearly, when you're that size that you need a flatbed truck to drive you to the hospital, that's when you don't want to leave the house. You just want to sit down and just never get up again. Fuse to the seat underneath you. That is the winning strategy. But all actions have consequences, and that's why I'm guessing his mother lit him on fire. That's speculation. I can't confirm it to be fact, but that is speculation that I've come up with. That she was trying to find a way to motivate him to leave his room and lit him on fire. Can't say that really did happen, but it's a beautiful image. Imagine him basting like a turkey in a room as he tries to escape through an opening that's just too small to fit out of. How about Brad Jones? Boy, a lot of people have wanted me to talk about Brad. Talk about the cinema snob. You need to bring up the cinema snob. He had a few things happen in his personal life and we want to hear about it. Well, you know what? Brad is a saint. Look at that face. I'm not going to talk shit about Brad Jones. I like the cinema snob. I like an individual that lets it all hang out there. And I do mean all of it.
Oops. Yeah, poster's a little crooked. Let me just fix that there. Ah, perfect. Oh no!
Well, it would appear that I've written myself into a corner here. Who am I going to talk about? What minor contributors can I fill this time up with? I was going to do this compilation video, and looking at it now, there's not really that many fucking interesting people aside from the big names to discuss. I mean, I've talked about Noah Antweiler, I've talked about Doug Walker, I've talked about Pissed Pablo, I've talked about Linkara, hell, I even talked about Latza. So who does that leave?
Well, we've looked over all the finalists for the Nostalgia Chick contest and have finally picked out our winner.
Well, shit. Of course, the Nostalgia Chick. You remember the Nostalgia Chick? She was the female version of Doug Walker. She won a contest to get onto the website.
Hi, I'm your Nostalgia Chick, and... Oh, is it Don Bluth time again already?
Hell, I remember her reviews. I actually liked them. God, I wonder what she's up to these days.
So, for part 2 of our deep dive into gender and Transformers... How's that for a phrase you never thought you'd say as an adult?
Well, come on, who doesn't want to use feminist theory to examine the Transformers? Doesn't that sound like fun to you? It sounds entertaining as hell to me. Yes, good old Lindsay has seemingly gone off the deep end. In fact, if you were to read her social media account, you'd get a really good idea of what the Nostalgia Chick is like these days. No, let me set the mood first. There we go. Let's take a look at some of these stunningly brave tweets that she's put out over the years and see if we can try to pick up on a pattern of behavior that may have evolved since her early days at the website. I prefer to be known as Shadow Queen of the SJWs. From now on, there was a secret election. Don't worry about it. I'm honored. Look, dummies, no one is saying D&D are white supremacists, but they are tone-deaf writers who don't get why adding more rape to Game of Thrones was bad. I mean, dudes saying rape culture doesn't exist is like white people saying racism is over, which they often do. So, there you go. Goddamn, people trying to use the word humanist in lieu of feminist because it is more equal. Get it? Makes me so mad. Well, it would seem our little Lindsay has grown into quite the SJW. Talking about all the hot-button issues like rape in Game of Thrones and white supremacy and privilege and just the whole slew of bullshit that seems to make the rounds on Twitter. I don't know what it is about Twitter and that guy with the glasses, but it sure turns these people into something they weren't originally. Hey kids, fun fact, it doesn't matter if threats of rape and physical harm are trolling or not, it's still against the law. And she even has the little clapping emoticons. But Lindsay, I think that might be cultural appropriation. How can I best get that point across to you? I mean, you're an SJW. Clearly, you don't want to culturally appropriate somebody else's behavior online. But how could I do it in a subtle way that you would get? It just eludes me right now. It eludes me I can't think of something. That's not to say, though, that Lindsay always comes down on the side of the SJWs. She doesn't. I don't think Felix is a racist. I think he's a careless, tone-deaf idiot who's made millions being a careless, tone-deaf idiot.
What a fucking nigger.
But then again, there are instances of friendly fire with Lindsay. Like when James Rolfe wouldn't review the Ghostbusters movie. She had this to say: "I too would like to take a stand and say that I hate this movie neither I nor you nor anyone has seen." Oh, wait a second. It looks like there's a response to this one. What is that? "Remember how you hated your baby enough to kill it before you ever even saw it?"
Damn!
Yeah, I should probably bring that up. Lindsay happened to create a short film, a documentary, The A Word, about abortion, in which she gave oh God, how can I sum the plot of this movie up for you?
No wire hanger! No wire hangers ever!
Oh, Jim, that's horrible. How could you make a coat hanger joke about Lindsay Ellis having an abortion? Though to be fair, right? You know, I'm not stepping on any toes here. I'm just using the same jokes Lindsay does. Because after all, we're talking about abortion, smiley face. So why are you getting so bent out of shape? It's not like I'm saying the nostalgic critic lusts to ride on the cock carousel.
Hey, Lindsay, want some dick? What?
Not saying that at all. At least not until the finale, where we're going to talk about the rumors, and you're going to want to tune in for that one. But I could go over the video more in depth. I did actually watch it, and it's really not that bad, but something else caught my eye, more than the subject matter of the video, more than Lindsay Ellis giving her speech about her own personal experience or talking about the issue in general. Something else caught my eye. Now, when you go to the IMDb page, you'll be greeted by this. Simple, standard, stock information, the things that you would normally encounter. The A Word, 2010. Having chosen to get an abortion, this documentary follows Ellis' struggle and highlights a stigma others face. The A Word is Lindsay Ellis' directorial debut, as well as a very personal story. But do you know what the weird thing is? That's not the description that was actually always up there. It used to have a different synopsis, a different summary that was listed underneath. If you were to look at an archive of the page, it says, "In the fall of 2009, Lindsay Ellis, a 25-year-old graduate student, made the decision to terminate her first and only pregnancy, finding the decision much more difficult than she anticipated." Now, why would they change the description? In the fall of 2009, Lindsay Ellis had an abortion and made a video about it. She did a small documentary about it. What happened earlier that year that fits in the time frame of needing to get an immediate abortion? What could possibly have motivated that decision?
What is your problem? Look, I double bagged it, okay? Anyway.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, how do these dates add up? Fall of 2009 gets the abortion. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying that Spoonie's descent into depression and alcoholism was at all fueled by the fact that he and Lindsay Ellis had a sexual affair, and then she aborted the baby, breaking his mind and breaking his spirit. I'm not saying that. But you know, Lindsay has spent a good amount of time really dealing with the hard issues, the big topics. I mean, my God, she did a documentary about getting an abortion. And she wasn't just satisfied with that. Lindsay Ellis is an advocate for rights. You saw her tweets about rape. She takes that very seriously.
Brian, what is in this thing?
Roofies.
She would never make a skit making a joke about rape, let alone creating a rap song about getting raped. That would just be ridiculous. Dude, not funny. In her second Thanks for the Feedback video, she made a music video featuring a rap song about rape. The video was almost universally reviled as being in poor taste and has since been taken down, although not for that reason. Word of God says that she wasn't happy with the edit and didn't want it to be put up anyway. Wait, so Lindsay Ellis actually made a song about rape? A rape rap? Well, interestingly enough, if you were to go to search for this, you're not going to find it. In fact, I found bits and pieces of it. But when I delayed the Lindsay Ellis video, when I switched it up for the Linkara one, I had publicly talked about finding the rape rap video. And what do you know, when I go back to revisit it, it's disappeared as well. In fact, it's been scrubbed from the internet. But don't worry though. Even though Lindsay Ellis has removed all traces of the rape rap from the internet, my friends and I got together at the lab and we worked hard to create a real-life forensic reconstruction of what we believe Lindsay Ellis's rape rap would have been like.
Make her suck your dick the first date. You scared to rape a bitch? I can't relate. She let me in the house, nobody's safe. Now pass the plate. Rape. She let me text her, won't let me touch her. She said she can't fuck, I'm like her brother. Kick down the door unannounced. While she lay on the couch, I gives a fuck, this your house. Place that crotch on my mouth. Rape, 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 rape on the first fucking date. Rape, 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 rape. Put that puss on my motherfucking face.
Now, I feel fairly confident that that's a close approximation of what Ellis's rape rap would have been. But if Lindsay wants to, re-upload it and show us all that my forensic reconstruction is not accurate, she's welcome to do so. But I think the boys and I at the lab, I think we really nailed it. I feel this is a fairly accurate representation of the music that she wanted to put out there for people to consume. Now, eventually, Lindsay's time with that guy with the glasses would come to an end. She's going to branch off and do her own thing. And her own thing ended up taking the form of Shay Apocalypse, a website for Team Nostalgia Chick and other assorted talent to come and produce skits and ideas and videos that she wanted to direct and put up for her fan base. Now, what you're looking at is an archived version of the page, because if you try to go to this shithouse website, I don't know where this fucking thing is hosted, what Lithuanian server it exists on, but it's fucking impossible to get it to load. Not that it would really do much good, because the site basically died in 2015. If you look at any of the social media attached to it, the Facebook page, the Twitter account, all of them are pretty much dead as of 2015. It had something to do with them putting all their eggs in the blip basket and then it not working out. I believe the site is still used somewhat, but it was a pretty abject failure. But that doesn't stop collecting those dollary dues on Patreon, because for whatever reason, this shithouse website still has a Patreon account. Lindsay's still making a pretty chunk of change, which is remarkable, considering she has her own fucking Patreon account, where she makes a really good amount of money doing her own videos. And yet, here's Shay Apocalypse, still raking in those dollars. If they could hit that $500 mark, they can finally get that fucking website to work. Fingers crossed. Let's hope they hit that goal this month. Yeah, all these social media seems to be dead for it. I can't really... Well, I mean, there is the Tumblr. I mean, it is Lindsay Ellis's Tumblr account, but it's still under the Shay Tumblr name, which I guess is in association with the website. Even the description, Team N Chicks, Rumbly, and My Tumbly. So maybe this is the only vestige left of this thing. I can't really tell you. It's not like they post a lot on the Tumblr. It's not like Lindsay really talks about Shay Apocalypse on the Tumblr a lot. No, she mostly talks about other things. June2734 asked, "Hey Lindsay, just wondering how you and Todd met and became such good friends. We met, sadly, on the set of Suburban Nights." Well, set is a strong word, and sadly for me, but not for Todd. He thinks it's hilarious. We dated for about 3 years and called it off last year, but are still roommates. We kept that on the DL for a variety of reasons, mostly because the online atmosphere about a year ago became suddenly very antagonistic, and breaking up is hard enough without fuckboys publicly scrutinizing you for it. But anyway, Todd's remained one of my best friends, and probably always will be. Love me. Love my Todd. Well, who's this Todd? Who the fuck breaks up with a girl and still is their friend and their roommate? Sounds a little bit new male to me. Sounds a little bit like a beta cuck. Who is this Todd? This Todd in the Shadows. Well, Todd in the Shadows is a real-life composite. He's basically what the gay love child of Harold and Kumar would look like if they had gay ass babies. But Todd leads a double life. In the daytime, he drives your taxi in the Bronx. But at night, he mugs people in alleyways. At least that's what I'm assuming this LARPing costume is going for. That or it's some kind of fucking homage to R. Kelly's Mask period. I don't really know. But Todd in the Shadows was another contributor at That Guy with the Glasses. He made music-related content for people to consume. And much like we've seen with different content producers on That Guy with the Glasses, Todd exhibits the exact same behavior that they all seem to exhibit once they start using Twitter. Just take a look at a few of his greatest hits. I knew Justin Juwario and you did not. Trust me, he would not support Gamergate and would not want anyone to think he did. Nothing says moral conviction like using a dead man's legacy to argue a point on the internet with other fucking angry video game nerds. And it's a very tactful backpedaling you did immediately following this and the blowback you got for it, when you put up a twitlonger saying that you were triggered because somebody had a Jew Wario hat on their avatar. But I think my favorite tweet of Todd's altogether would be this one. Gamergate is attacking a friend of mine, SRH Butts, a person who has done absolutely nothing wrong. SRH Butts didn't do nothing. It's a good boy. Just needs money for dem programs. But who exactly is SRH Butts? I mean, if we were to look up Sarah Nyberg, who would we find? Well, one of the articles you might come across would be this one from Breitbart. Leading Gamergate critic Sarah Nyberg claimed to be a pedophile, apologized for white nationalism. In a shocking post in Nyberg's own FF Shrine chat logs dated 26 October 2005, Nyberg, who used a screen name Sarah, describes herself as a submissive male-to-male transsexual pedophile that's fond of age play and penis girls that really misses Alice. Elsewhere in the log, she says, "Yes, I am a pedo. I embraced my child lover soul long ago." Nyberg says she knows pedophiles. I've probably known 8 to 12 pedo trannies, she says. SRH Butts didn't do nothing wrong. Brilliant, Todd. What a brilliant defense of an innocent person, Todd. That didn't blow up in your fucking face really quickly, did it? Just like that Jew Wario thing. You seem to get really hot under the collar about Gamergate. I don't blame you. I've heard it's a misogynistic hate movement against women, with the singular purpose being to get a Republican in the White House in 2016. At least that's what I've heard. I wouldn't know anything personally about it. Now, I know that was a minor amount of minor contributors to put in the compilation video, but I think Todd really fits this category. After all, he was minor enough of a boyfriend to basically live in the fucking closet and stay a roommate after he got his ass dumped. And with that minor amount of manhood, I can't think of any better place to put him than in this compilation video. Now, I had intended to talk about a few other things, but really kind of going over it and looking at the different chat logs and interactions, it's a lot of boring people. I'm going to be honest with you. The big names seem to get involved in the more interesting things or have a longer sordid history than the smaller name contributors to the website. That's not to say they don't play a role in a lot of the scandals or alleged scandals or rumors, but that's more for the finale, which is the last video. At the end of this month, the last weekend of this month, will be the finale of this entire series. And it'll be into that video that I put the more salacious details, the more interesting tidbits of information that people have passed around for nearly a decade now, for as long as this website has been up, as long as people have been contributing to it. So hopefully you'll tune in for that and you will enjoy the finale, and we can cap this fucking off and I can get back to talking about people shoving bike pumps up their ass, like I'm used to doing. Once again, thank you to all the Patreons supporting me, and just to everybody actually viewing it. I hope you guys are liking the videos. And if not, well, you know what, shit. It'll be done this month, and then I'll be back to regular content. So even if you don't like them, even if you hate that guy with the glasses as a series, it will be wrapped up this October. I have to say, looking at the relationship that Ellis and Todd had, and their breakup, and him staying a fucking roommate, and keeping that on the down low, and then why, just being like this. He really is Todd in the shadows. He's like a fucking shadow of Lindsay Ellis. He just hovers around her, like he can't seem to let it go. Maybe that wasn't helped by the fact that he was a contributor at Shea Apocalypse, but I guess it makes sense they'd work together because she runs the fucking website, and if he's a roommate and a former lover or boyfriend or whatever, it's gonna be hard to shake him loose. Also, that was clearly a joke about Spoonie knocking up Lindsay Ellis and her getting an abortion. But that isn't to say that there wasn't a lot of fucking going on at these different movie shoots between the personalities. Apparently there is, which I can get into in the finale. That's what I've been looking forward to talking about. All the dirty relationships behind the scenes, and who's basically banging who, and all the fights that leads to, and the strains on the relationships. That's going to be the fun stuff. That's going to be entertaining shit to really focus on and look at. Also, I tried to do a better version of the credit scene, and it turned out even more disastrous and choppier than this one, which is the previous one. I'm reusing it. I don't know how the fuck to do it. Doesn't seem to work. I mean, I could try to adjust the speed and everything, but I can't ever seem to get it just right. So hopefully I'll have it done by the finale where it's fucking legible. Otherwise, I'm going to have to try to find some other workaround. Maybe putting names in the description rather than in the video. I don't know just yet. But that'll wrap it up for this video. I'm going to go play Cuphead and scream racial obscenities at it, which is what I usually do when I do badly at a video game. You'll probably hear some of those because I'm going to do some gaming streams this month for Halloween. One of the reasons I don't really stream video games is I have a bit of a temper, and when I get a bit of a temper, I can't really control my language very well, where I'm going to make PewDiePie look like a fucking saint. So we'll see how long those streams last. I'll probably do them on Brightside Bob. I'll have more information posted up later on. You can check out Patreon or Facebook or Twitter and find it. But either way, have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll let the music play us out.